Alright, so this is Bryce, and today is July the 13th. And what's happened here is there was a member of the forums who had mentioned that, or I had mentioned too, that I had had some hands from about 2 years ago when I started playing full time, still in my poker tracker database. So what I thought it might be interesting to do would be to do a mock session here where I look at some of my play from 2 years ago and just show you guys what my play was like during that time. And so one thing that's important to remember here is that what I've had to do is open up 3 tables in the replay feature in Poker Tracker. But these tables are not being played simultaneously. They're being played sequentially. They're from August the 12th, 2005. But it's important to remember that if I see a player do one thing on one table, I don't necessarily have that information when I'm playing a hand on another table. So I'm going to start it up here and see what happens. In the top table I have 10s and I re-raise a raise from under the gun. He raises, I get an ace-high flop. Against a guy who is not very erratic in his play, I don't mind that check fold. What happens when a player re-raises from an early position and I re-raise, I'm showing a lot of strength. And so for him to cap, his hand range has to be exponentially stronger on average, or I believe it will be, than if I had raised his later position raise. So because my raise is against his early position raise, and he caps that, I believe his hand has to be very strong. And if you can only have large aces or large pocket pairs, and he may only occasionally have the erratic hand like King Queen suited, or maybe just a unexpected hand, I cannot call that flop and show a profit. And so I may not be able to comment in full on all of these hands. I'm going to be trying to speak in very general terms today and just talk about what I think I should be doing. And later on I intend to show with the Queen's hand on the top. That's the situation where I bet onto the flop. There's not really any value in betting unless I think I can induce a bluff. Most players I won't be able to do that, but there is no value in betting to protect my hand. And there's also no, he can't really call me with a worse hand. Occasionally he will. He will maybe call me as withdrawing, which is okay. If he does that, I should bet. But if I believe I can induce a bluff, that is a much, much better play. Either by checking behind, or by betting. If I can induce a bluff that way, that will also be the best play. If my opponent will peel loosely, that will also encourage me to bet. 10-5 off, it completes and I check. In the top right table I raise Queen Jack spades into the gun. I get a cold call and a 3-bet. I'll have to play this hand pretty straightforward. I won't be able to really win it unimproved. So it checks through. My opponent probably has some sort of underpair, but I don't believe it's worth taking a shot at the pot. He probably has jacks or 10s or something similar to that. And he folds. He may have folded a pair of 10s to the bet. In the bottom left table I have pocket aces, and I re-raise, which is good. I'll certainly have to bet into a flop like this.